How has my HIV status affected me? It's funny because in the beginning, and even now, I don't say that I am HIV positive. I say that I've contracted HIV, which is funny because it sounds like you've hired somebody for a job. HIV resides inside me. It's actually been a blessing in this way. I know that sounds crazy, but I immediately started to focus on myself and my needs and reduced the amount of stress in my life by eliminating excessive activities to those that I really wanted to practice and whose practice wouldn't leave me feeling exhausted. I also established boundaries with my parents and stuck to them because I needed to take care of myself first. That's one of my mottos. Me first. I take care of myself first and then others. Initially, and when I say initially, I mean for the first couple of months, it was still a difficult thing to believe. And in the very beginning, I felt so dirty, I felt guilty, I felt stupid, I felt that it would make no sense to anybody else if I was to tell them, because intelligent, well-bred people don't contract HIV, right? Which is wrong. And it revealed a pride that I had in my negative status as well. I was so proud walking about being HIV negative because only a certain type of person would contract HIV. But obviously that's not the case. And it opened my eyes to the fact that anybody can have it. And being at the treatment center, I see many people that I knew but didn't know had HIV from all walks of life. I was also glad that it happened to me in a phase of my life when I had been invested in myself. So I was doing my meditations every day. I had a very stoic perspective on life and death. And so when this happened, my attitude was basically, yes, things happen in life that you do not plan for. And this just happened to be my course. As I said in other videos, it was freeing because this one thing that I was terrified of, I no longer needed to be terrified of. And I guess the feelings of guilt and of wanting to sleep to escape the reality, they eventually subsided. And I was left with the reality that it's not that big a deal. You take your medication once a day, in my case, and people live normal lifespans as a result. So socially, I guess there are times when I'm out late and I consider that I need to go take my pill. But how inconvenient is it? It's not very, except maybe the monthly meds and having to go collect them. That's a little inconvenient. But it also is what it is. I hated needles. And now annually I have to have blood taken. So I've gotten quite accustomed to that. My close circle of friends knew, so that I wouldn't have to hide when I needed to do certain things. Like if I couldn't meet up with you because I needed to go pick up meds, or if something were to happen that was related to my HIV status, I'd like to be able to tell them. None of them had a reaction to this because most of them already have friends who have HIV, and they also are mature enough to know that how does it affect them at all, really. Uh, we know that you don't get it from touching, you know that you don't get it from kissing, and we know that if a person's undetectable, they can't pass it on. So, you know, it didn't really affect them. I immediately told my brother, actually, when I found out, and maybe two other close friends. Emotionally, I was a little depressed. It felt like a lot had happened at once because immediately after being diagnosed with HIV in August of 2019, COVID happened the following year, and there was so much conflicting information regarding what that would mean for people with compromised immune systems. Although that in itself was confusing to me because, to my mind, my immune system wasn't compromised because I was on meds and my viral load was undetectable. So I didn't understand what it would mean if I were to contract COVID. Although I will tell you something, I'm vegan, and since I went vegan over 8 years ago, I don't get sick. It's crazy. I wonder to what extent it's a placebo effect, but I'm also intermittent fasting. I don't get sick. And I feel like there's absolutely no indication that I have HIV. It's crazy because, seems like my immune system is doing pretty okay. So the effects, though, were minimized based on my mindset, I think, because I have been at the same treatment center and seen people break down and fall on the ground and roll around devastated because of the diagnosis. And it's sad because this is obviously because of beliefs that are erroneous, that aren't based in reality, on fact. And people have problems adhering as well to the medication because I guess taking it on a daily basis initially was a bit of a nuisance because it was a reminder as well that you have HIV. But now I take it with my vitamins. So, and many people with chronic illnesses like diabetes, they also have to take medication on a daily basis. Heart medication. My parents would take hypertension, So it's not unlike that. There were some pills that were huge in the beginning. And also, initially, the effect of the medication. It made me feel drunk. But I will tell you this. You can watch some upcoming videos that I did around the time that I got infected. I wasn't sure why I was doing them, but now I know. It was for you so that you could see me go through it in real time. I can't remember how many videos there are, maybe 3 or 4, but that's what's coming up and you should tune in for those, okay? My advice to anyone who has found out that they have HIV is to base yourself on the facts, avoid the internet because, again, a lot of the information on there is from early times when people were contracting HIV and still developing AIDS. So, I don't know. You gotta have a good support system, people that you can talk to about it. But that all has to do with living an authentic life, right? And I live and I don't think about it. For the most part, it doesn't affect me in a way that makes me even consider it much. And now that more people will know because of this video, then the ones who are ignorant will stay away, and the ones who got sense will know that it's barely something to consider when considering being in any kind of relationship with another human being. Yeah, because it's all about direct communication, direct and open communication. And once you got that, then you can get over many hurdles. So that is the story. Next, I'm going to tell you about how I confronted my childhood bullies. I didn't plan for it. It just happened. I put on my military gear and I was ready to drop kick a boy in his mouth. So stay tuned and let me talk about that later. Of course, feel free to talk to me in the comments and let me know your thoughts. If you're people who are also HIV positive, let me know what you think about what I've said. If you're not, also let me know what you think about what I said. I'm not responding to any hate or ignorant comments anymore, and so that's my position. All right, see you next time. Yeah, these too big to be sweet. These gonna be sour with a big seed. Earring.